How do colleges outside the Power Five compete in the ever-changing world of college athletics? That's the question Brent Blaylock is grappling as he takes a new job, athletic director at the University of San Francisco. Today, we'll meet Blaylock and hear about his plans on the hilltop right here on Section 415. All right, Brent Blaylock, welcome to San Francisco. Welcome to the University of San Francisco Athletic Department. And it's great to have you on Section 415 with us.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on and excited to be here in San Francisco.
Yeah, so many different topics that we could cover and we will cover over the course of the next 20, 25 minutes. But first, have you found a place to live yet in this city? That is the toughest thing for any newcomer to do.
I have, and fortunate to find something right here near campus because I want to be at all the events and be very present in those things. And I got a quick lesson on traffic and kind of moving around on some of those things here. So I wanted to get as close to campus as I could be.
Very smart. Shrewd move as your first step as the athletic director. So let's jump right into it then. How did the process of coming to USF really begin for you? Did you reach out to administrators? Did they find you? What did that look like?
Yeah, it was a quick process, and the leadership did an excellent job of exposing me to all the right people throughout the process, and that was with the president and multiple trustees through that time, and really it was something that worked very quickly. It was refreshing. It was, sometimes you go through these and there's a little kind of gamesmanship back and forth, whatever it may be. I think it was very clear from the beginning that I was extremely interested in coming to the University of San Francisco and leading the athletic department. And it felt like they were very interested in me joining as well. So I appreciate the president and how he moved through that. And he was very clear on what they were looking for, and I was very clear on what I thought I could provide, and we were able to come to an agreement pretty quickly.
Obviously, this is an athletic department with an incredibly rich tradition in sports. Obviously, you've got the 51 Dons. A lot of people know that story. You've got some incredible basketball talent who's come through the Dons program. And, we could look back at the history, Brent, but in your position, I think what's best for us to do is to really look forward and chart the future of what USF Athletics looks like. What is most exciting to you about the prospect of taking over on the hilltop and seeing this entire athletic department into the future?
Yeah, it's a handful of things. I'd say, first of all, I was really attracted to this is a place with a strong institutional identity. I think as you look across the country, there's some places that are maybe losing their way a little bit on those things. That's not happening here. And then as an extension of that, we have a conference with all generally like-minded institutions that all are kind of doing things in a similar way and all want similar things. And so that's really important. And the geography for that can't be understated as well. Like I don't want to have to worry about sending a team all the way across the country to play one game and then come all the way back. So with that, we're able to provide a better student athlete experience than maybe some other places that they would go. When I looked at USF particularly, there's been so much disruption right now. And I think with that disruption comes opportunity, and it's how are we going to meet that moment with that opportunity? We certainly had some membership changes. We've had some coaching changes. We've had some other things. And right now, there's nothing but opportunity for USF to move forward. It is shown to be a sustained winner across many sports. I know you referenced some of those before. I see no reason why that can't continue happen and to be enhanced with those things. But what I know is if we're going to do those things, we have to have that championship mentality that starts from the top and that permeates in all the things that we do. I found in getting to meet the people here that they're committed and they're determined to win as well, and it's my job to go out, find the resources, find the pathways for them to be able to do so. And I think we can get there, but it's a strong legacy here. I understand that I'm a steward of all of that, but to us that shows it's been done before. We can do all those things again. We just have to make sure we have the right mindset for it.
You mentioned the word disruption, and it's funny, I talk about the San Francisco Giants and the San Francisco 49ers on this podcast, and when I see friends and people who understand the sports world at a really in-depth level, one of the questions they always ask me is about NIL and how that's influencing various college programs on the West Coast, and admittedly, it is not an area I'm well versed in. So I'd love to learn a little bit more about how USF has evolved in the NIL space over the last 5 years and kind of what you see as the framework, the foundwork, or then the foundation for NIL at a university like the University of San Francisco.
Yes. So, there's two different components to that now. It's starting within the last year, we have the revenue share part, which can come straight from the institution, which does utilize the student athlete's name, image, and likeness. And then we have the external part, which had been originally done and now has shifted somewhat. So, from a revenue share standpoint, coming straight from the institution, we're going to be competitive in that, but because those are the ways that we can build out rosters and really build that continuity from year to year as well with those things. When it comes externally, that's something that we're just going to have to build out. I'm still kind of getting my arms around what that foundation, what the framework is here. But I know this, we are the University of San Francisco, and there are very few places in the country that have the corporate partner opportunities that our student athletes have here. And when you look at a city's GDP that's measured in fractions of trillions, there's plenty of opportunity in that. And I've been fortunate at my last two institutions to build out NIL programs that focus more on using corporate partnerships and multimedia rights to be able to do those things. It's something we plan to do here as well. We have incredible student athletes that have a story to tell that can provide unique value to these partners. We just have to get out in the community and find those right partners and really take advantage of it. So I'm very excited, very bullish on what that can be here at USF because we have built-in advantages that no one else has.
Yeah, I think it's such a fascinating place to be in the world of college athletics right now. You mentioned your previous stops, the University of Arizona in Tucson, Oregon State up in Corvallis, two places that I really love. I'm an old Pac-12 guy myself, so it was sad to see the disintegration of that conference. But you mentioned coming to San Francisco and the opportunities that exist for an athletic department like yours. I was reading through your press release and, really interesting quote. You talked about, having relationships with student athletes, with students on campus, with administrators, and also with the city of San Francisco. And maybe you just spoke to this about the partnerships that potentially exist in this community. But when you talk about building investment and loyalty from a city, Brent, what does that look like in a major metropolitan area?
Yeah, it's difficult, and I've got some experience with it before. I spent time in Miami, working with both the Dolphins and the University of Miami. So I've kind of seen both sides, the professional side and the college side of that as well. I think the biggest thing for that is one, we need to have a presence, and those within our community need to see us out in their community. And second with that is we have to reflect what the city stands for, and those that are within our neighborhoods and in our communities, they need to say, hey, USF, that reflects what I am and what I believe in. And then we have to be super accessible in that as well. And I think that's something that we can do. When you look around the city, we're able to provide opportunities for families and others to come out to games, just have incredible times together and do those things that they may not be able to have elsewhere. So for me, you're going to see me out as much as possible. I want to build those bridges. I want everyone to know that they are welcome on our campus. And I'm going to challenge our coaches to do the same as well, because we need to truly be the University of San Francisco, bring out that civic pride. We're the only Division I institution here. And so it's our job to make sure that we are being an athletic department that the city and all its citizens can be proud of.
It's really interesting to hear you say involve the coaches because, you've got a long, really impressive track record in college athletics by this point to be hired in this position in the first place. But I wonder from your perspective, how the job of a coach, whether it be a basketball coach at a Power 5 program or not to take anything away, but like an Olympic sport at a smaller, maybe mid-major program, how the job of a coach has evolved maybe in the last 5 to 10 years and what's being asked of them and, maybe how you think about hiring for coaches in a way that maybe you didn't have to 10 to 15 years ago.
Yeah, the role of a coach, it's only getting more difficult, and it was never an easy job to begin with either. I think one of the biggest parts now is you're seeing they're really having to become a CEO for their program, and that doesn't matter the level or the sport. They are having to take on more and more responsibilities that goes beyond maybe the traditional and just tactical and technical. Can you coach them up? Can you recruit them? Can you do those things? I mean, whether it was rev share, the changing in legislations, now having to work with essentially salary caps, the constant churn on their rosters. You got to not only recruit prospects every day, but you got to recruit your own roster every day. And then we're seeing volatility as well with staffs and all those things. So the job is just becoming impossibly hard for them to do. And I'm sincerely empathetic for those things. And it's why they need to know from me that I'm here to partner with them and help them through with those challenges. So when it comes to what I look for, I mean, to me, it goes to the first thing I just talked about. Are they a CEO? Do they have that broader vision where they can lead an organization? They're not just there to coach, or they're not just there to recruit, but can you lead an organization? And do you have a vision? Can you compel people to follow it? And can you communicate it? Because those are all difficult things. But the need for communication with how quickly things move these days, it's only getting more and more important with those things. You also, you have to be adaptable with this. You know, there's such value in coaches that have been doing it for a long time because they've seen it all and they've got those pelts on the wall. But you also hate to tell them, but a lot of the things that they were maybe doing in 2017 or even 2020, it's not relevant anymore to be able to do. So yeah, it can help you with some in-game decisions and things like that. It may not help you with recruiting, with how things have changed in that, or roster construction and those things. So it's really that adaptability as well. And then they have to be driven to win. They have to be the best at what they want to do. You know, if you're just kind of along for the ride or ready to settle, like this just isn't. There's places for that. This is not going to be the place for that. So it's having that championship mentality to max things out as much as you can. And what can you do that's unique to maybe some others? You know, a quote that people will hear, especially on staff and coaches, from me often, and it's one of my favorite quotes here, and it's from General Eric Shinseki. What he says is, if you don't like change, you're going to like irrelevance even less. And that's just how we're going to challenge our coaches and our staff and everyone, is that we have to be adaptable, we have to be agile with the changes, and really be forward thinking in all that we do.
You talked about the qualities that you look for when you're going out and courting these coaches to come to a university. How do you sell yourself to these coaches? How do you talk about the way that you like to work so that these coaches know that they have an active partner in their athletic director?
Well, the easy part to that is I have an incredible institution behind me to be able to push forward. And again, we're in the best city in the world. So those two things should help take care of itself, as well as just such a talent-rich area for them. What I'll tell them about me is, I'm here to support them. I'm invested in them. You know, every conversation may not be the easiest and the best, but they're going to know that I always have their best interests at heart, that I am here to ask them what they need to be successful and then go find those things. And that means different things to different people. But for me, it's all about finding out who they are, what they value, and then how I can support them and all that. And sometimes they just need someone to listen to them. Sometimes they need a thought partner and all those things. And I'm ready to do all of that. I really enjoy those partnerships and kind of getting down in the bunker sometimes, if you will, with them. But they're also going to know that I lead through people, but I want to empower them. And I want them to know that it's their program. They're hired to run the program the best that they can do it. I'm going to trust them to do those things with that autonomy. But I'm always going to be here to help them out with whatever they need. The final parts of that, and kind of what we talked about and the characteristics that I'm looking for, is I'm also going to make sure that we're pushing forward with accountability to make sure that we're doing the best that we can, not only from a student-athlete experience, but from a competitive standpoint to a academic standpoint, to all those things that are important. So I will certainly hold them accountable to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, when you think about USF Athletics, Brent, I'm sure I could ask you a question about each of the individual programs. I'm sure you've studied up on all of them. I've paid particularly close attention to the men's basketball program for the last several years. I've had Chris Gerlifson on my radio show on KMBR. I think he's done an incredible job taking over the program and maintaining a level of success and stability. So I'll ask you specifically about men's basketball. What excites you about the potential for this program? And, you know, we talked about the changing nature of West Coast athletics. Gonzaga's doing some different things right now. What do you think is possible within the next few seasons for your men's basketball program?
Well, I think what's possible is for us to be a sustained winner that's at the championship level in the WCC, and then where we're having very consistent conversations about playing into March every single year. You're right. Chris has done a good job with the program up to this point. He's following a good list of a couple people there and ahead of him that have really done some successful things as well. But I'm here to support Chris, and I know that he can do well. He has done well. We've kind of been right on that cusp of being right at the very top. And my challenge for him is to say, hey, let's work together. Let's find out the things that we can do and what we need to be at that championship level, because I think that opportunity is right there in front of us. Now, we won't go chasing wins and we won't go chasing single year championships. To me, it's all about sustainable success. To have a program that looks like a Richter scale, I'm not too excited about that. I want something to where we are creating some enduring systems so that the way we recruit, the way we do things with our program, the systems we play, all that is designed so that we're giving ourselves a chance every single year to win the conference. And then once you do that, with tournament expansion and some other things, then everything is wide open from there. But I'm excited about the future, as we talked about some of that opportunity with the changes that have been made by some of those that have maybe had a foothold up there at the top. To me, that's now wide open for us, and who better than us to jump through that opportunity and make sure that we're there at the top.
I admit, when you say building endurable and sustainable systems, it sounds to me a little bit like football talk. I played football, I've coached football, and I know that you've worked in football. So I wanted to draw back on some of your early career lessons and what being around the sport and kind of the lessons that you soak up from, being at the highest levels of the sport. You talked about being around the Miami Dolphins, how you can apply that to a university that doesn't have football, but still, a lot of lessons that you learn in sports you can apply across a wide variety of sports.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest ones is resilience. Just working through things and the grit that it takes to just keep going. And it's not always about talent, and it's about, are you able just to keep fighting, keep going, and working through that. That's the first one. Next is, certainly this happens in all sports. I've seen a lot of it on the football side. It's just the accountability that comes with that as well. It's the whole do your job, and you got to trust everyone else is going to do their job as well. I think that's a big part. And then one of the things that works, just because of the number of players around the field, but similar to soccer and others with that as well, when you have so many, is you got to be a great teammate. And I think that applies to all the things that we do, whether that's staff, whether that's with the coaches, student athletes with each other. I say a lot, be the teammate that you would want others to be in that. And so that's just another lesson that I've taken from my time in sports. And you're right, coming up on the operational side of things and really being involved with the team side, you understand the challenges that the student athletes or players and what they go through, and the coaches and kind of what those things are like, but behind the scenes. So it's really taught me a good level of empathy as well for those things, but because these things are hard. So we have to do our best to support each other as we move forward and try to win games and get to championships.
There's a lot of people with really cool jobs in the Bay Area in the sports world. I think John Lynch running the San Francisco 49ers, Mike Dunleavy over with the Warriors, Jess Smith, president of the Valkyries. I think being the athletic director at one of these Bay Area institutions has to be one of the coolest because you get to touch so many different programs. I know you will be extraordinarily busy, Brent, in the coming months and years at every USF sporting event. So I'll ask you one last one headed out the door here. What do you plan to do on the rare off day around San Francisco? How do you plan to take advantage of the city?
I plan to walk and go around as much as I can. What an extraordinary place. I spent this past weekend trying to explore as much as I can. I think I actually topped out at 17 miles walking around on Sunday, just going and exploring things. So I'm starting some stuff on social media where I'm starting to share some of my experiences, hoping to get some feedback from everybody here in the city as well, because I want them to know, I know we're here on the hilltop at USF, but I want USF to be felt all throughout the city, and I want people to know about that connection. So I'm here to explore as much as possible. I want people to say hello when they see me out in public, but I'm just so excited about the connection we can make between the athletic department at the university in this great city, and I'm going to be exploring it as much as I can.
Incredibly cool mission, and we wish you the best of luck, Brent. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate the time.
Today's show was edited by Eddie Sun. Sophie Behrman is our director of audio. Our show art is by Jess Hutchison, and our theme music is by Hannes Brown. To support the San Francisco Standard sports coverage, sign up and become a subscriber today at sfstandard.com/sign up. I'm your host, Kerry Crowley. Thanks so much for listening to Section 415.